So I've had quite a few people ask me about gearing and gear changes in bikes. The easiest way to think of it is that your front tooth, typically around 15 or 16, depending on how big your bike is. Most 600s it's a 15. And then your bigger rear sprocket, which is typically around a 45 to 47. The difference in teeth from the front to the back, the front sprocket, is typically 2.5 teeth different. Between 2.5 and 3, there's kind of a little gray area there. Around 2.5 to 3 teeth different from the front, which means the front, if you do one tooth difference, if you go from a 15 to a 16, that's going to be the same as doing 3 teeth in the rear. 2.5 to 3 teeth, generally. When you change 3 teeth on your bike, it makes a significant difference in how it handles. If you gear it towards torque, like what I did with my old SV, you go from a 15 to a 14. That takes your top speed from around 130 stock to around 115-ish, maybe 120 if you push it. You lose that much power, or that much top end, but you gain a bunch of torque. The same thing, changing one tooth in the front, if you change 3 teeth in the rear and make the rear bigger, then that's going to do generally the same thing. The biggest difference being, if you change the front tooth, that means that front sprocket and those front teeth are getting much more wear, and your chain is moving much quicker. So that will wear down your chain quicker. If you do the rear, it will not wear down the chain as quickly. The biggest thing about stock gearing is that manufacturers know what they're doing when they gear their bikes originally. If they put it to a 1545, most likely with the amount of power that bike makes stock, it is probably at the just the edge between its top speed and its peak torque. What I mean by that, and what it actually means for a standard bike owner, is that if you've done modifications to your bike, then it would be beneficial for you to change the gearing. If you're trying to make a stunt bike, obviously you're going to change the gearing. If you're trying to make a top speed bike, you're going to change the gearing for more top speed. Probably a bigger front sprocket, smaller rear sprocket. But if you're not making extra power on your bike, it's probably going to hinder the performance of the bike. Generally speaking, if you make 120 horsepower, you probably max out at around 165 miles an hour from a 1545 tooth or 1547. Depends on the bike, depends on the manufacturer. If you go for more top speed, you may actually lose top end power because your bike can't put enough power out to push that bike forward more. It may not make enough torque to turn the rear wheel at that high RPM. So gearing is not always a good way to adjust and change the way that your bike rides. Sometimes, if you have a power commander, if you have an intake, if you've got top end build, top end work, valves, if you've done porting and polishing, it would make sense to change your gearing because you can probably get a little bit more power and usage out of your bike. Instead of going 165, you may be able to go 170, 175. But it does not make decent sense to change your gearing in a stock bike because you may end up losing power instead of gaining it. If you're wanting torque, absolutely go for it. But as far as going for more top end, it really in general does not make sense to do so. That's pretty much all I got for you. Have a good day.